Alright, hey guys, what is up? This is Biscaboo Horror Reviews, back again with another review for you guys. Before I get into the actual film itself and the review, I just need to push this back a little bit more. Yeah, that'll work. Before I get into the review, I'd like to say a couple things. This review is coming to you guys on a Sunday. This is very late considering I saw this movie on a Thursday. My explanation as to why is because, well, I went to a midnight screening of this movie. I wanted to go to a screening, and so did my cousin, and she didn't get off work till 10, and the latest screening, the best screening at least we could find for after that was midnight. So we figured, why not? Even though I have to work in the morning, I'll do it. And I figured maybe I'll have enough energy to do a review that night, if I'm lucky. I did not. I figured, okay, I'll do it tomorrow after work. Then me and my friends went out to a hookah bar. And then I figured, oh, I'll do it Saturday before work. And then I slept in, and I didn't have enough time to record it before work. And I worked till closing. So this is coming to you guys a few days after I originally saw the film. Now, the movie I'm talking about is Fede Alves's newest movie, Don't Breathe. Don't Breathe is a kind of home invasion slasher kind of thriller film that I would have to say, coming from the guy who did the Evil Dead remake, a film that I genuinely really liked. I know some people didn't like that movie. I personally thought it was really solid for a remake. And but coming from this guy and coming from this guy this year, I think this was a great time to release it. So far this year, we've had some really good horror films this year. I mean, this year we had The Witch, we had Green Room, we had The Conjuring 2, and I'll be 100% honest, I don't even like the first Conjuring movie, and I saw the second one because my cousin wanted me to see it, and I thought it was really good. And now we got Don't Breathe. Don't Breathe is a very similar film, I would say, in kind of style and the way it plays out, like Green Room. I would say it's kind of like Green Room, but a little more suspenseful. And a little less brutal when it comes to the violence. But basically, Don't Breathe is a movie I saw ads for months back, and I remember seeing the ads and thinking, oh, this looks pretty interesting. Then I did a bit of research, found out who the director was, and I was instantly very interested in the movie. I decided I would go see it eventually, and then I heard it was coming out like next Friday, and I'm like, oh shit, I gotta go see that. And I figured since my day off was on Thursday, I would go see it. Now, the plot of this movie basically, to put it as simply as I can, basically a bunch of thieves break into an old blind man's house because they hear he has a ton of money. Like, they hear he has at least a minimum of 300 grand in his house, and a maximum of up to 200, not 200, but up to $2 million in his house. And he lives in an old, rundown house in a bad neighborhood that all the other houses in the neighborhood are abandoned, and he's the only person there, and he never leaves the house. They figure this would be an easy job. Too bad for them that this guy turned out to be the Daredevil. Now, that actually has been a joke all over the internet. I keep seeing that one all over. Like, oh, it's literally Daredevil, but him as an old man. But really, basically, the old man is an ex-soldier, and he's a pretty strong guy for his age. And he's one of the most interesting kind of villain characters I've seen so far this year, and when it comes to horror. And I would compare him very much so to Darcy in Green Room. I will continue to compare this to Green Room because I feel like they're very similar movies. But the actor who portrayed him did a very good job, and I really think the plot is interesting. It's something that really hasn't been done before. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of home invasion films, but I will admit, like, movies like Angst and Them, the movies like that really get to me on a kind of, like, psychological level. This film isn't too much of that as much as it is just a very intense kind of battle to the death, I would say. Basically, this old man has a secret, and I'm not going to spoil it, but it's kind of shown in the trailers, which is ridiculous, because I feel like it would make the reveal even better. But basically, they get trapped in this house with this old man, and they have to be absolutely quiet. This old man is so familiar with this house, and since he is blind, he has really good hearing. He's, like, just running around, but they, narrowly avoid him multiple times, and ultimately the film comes to a head with an ending that I honestly would think is a little bit too Hollywood for this director, but at the same time I think it's not, and I think it's more of a reference or a throwback to older horror movies. Maybe not, but overall, the acting in the film was very, very good. Everybody turned in a good performance. Even the guy who played the love interest character, Money, even though I did not like his character and he's just like an annoying white boy. I mean, him being a white boy has nothing to do with it, but he's one of those, like, wannabe rappers. He's very, very hood, I would say. In the way he kind of talks and acts, but he is kind of an annoying character, and even though he is an annoying character, and he is probably the least likable out of all the characters, the actor who portrays him still puts in a good performance. The main character, who I cannot remember the name of for the life of me because I saw this movie 3 days ago, she is a very likable character, and she's basically the one you root for the entire time. She's kind of the, I don't really want to say, but at the same time I do. She's basically the main character. She's robbing into houses, stealing money, stealing, stuff from people's houses because she wants to get her and her daughter out. She's living with her mother in a trailer park. I remember when I was sitting in the theater watching this movie, and I said to myself, when I see that she's living in a trailer with her mother, I'm like, man, what is this, 8 Mile? I think I'm funny, but honestly, everybody turns in pretty good performance. The actor who portrays the blind man is very good at it, and he plays a very creepy, menacing, and I would say definitely kind of intimidating character. And like I said before, he's a very interesting character, and even though he is the bad guy of the movie, you kind of feel sorry for him at times. He's kind of a sympathetic villain, which I can really, really dig that. I love it when movies try to give their villains a bit of depth, even if it is just a little bit, even if it's just the most tiny, insignificant thing ever. That being said, the camera work, the lighting, everything from a technical standpoint, very, very good. I noticed something as I was watching the film, that there is a lot of use of blues and yellows when it comes to lighting, especially during scenes at night. And that is the main, lighting. Those are the two main colors you see on the poster as well. Don't know if that was intentional or not, but whether or not it is, I felt like it gave it a kind of interesting atmosphere. What there is of gore effects they're very solid. The sets are nice. I mean, really, this film is well made in almost every aspect. If I had any complaints, maybe it would be that how it all kind of plays out towards the end is a little cliched, a little too cliched for me, but I can still enjoy it. If there's one problem I had, I mean, not one problem I had, but That's one of the big problems I had with this movie. Other than that, it was a very, very solid, very good movie, and I would highly, highly recommend it. It's a very creepy, intense little movie. I would definitely say about on par with Green Room, although I think Green Room is just a little bit better. On the gore meter from 1 to 10, 1 being something like Nosferatu, and 10 being something like Peter Jackson's Brain Dead, Don't Breathe sits at probably a 4, maybe. I honestly don't know anymore. But honestly, overall, I would honestly recommend you guys go check this movie out. Give your money to put your money towards this movie, because I get a feeling that this movie, I mean, as far as I know, it hasn't generated a ton of buzz, and I get a feeling that this probably won't break even in the box office, which could very well ruin the director's career. And honestly, I kind of want to see what he's going to put out next, what he's going to do next. Now, my final rating, and the reason it is like this I will explain, but my final rating out of, at least out of 10, would be a solid anywhere from an 8.5 to a 9. Now, please keep in mind I rate movies on a combination of if they're well made and if I think they're interesting, entertaining, scary, whatever it's trying to make me feel. If it makes me feel that, or if it makes me laugh or cry or whatever, that's what I rate it upon. So I'm rating it on how much fun I had with the movie, how intense it was. It would sit between like an 8 and a 9. The only reason, and this is a big fucking problem that I gotta whine about for a second, is because I went to the opening night screening. Now, the theater wasn't super packed. I can get that. It was a midnight screening on a Thursday. Who comes to a midnight screening of a movie on a Thursday? Most people work on weekdays, but I'll give it the benefit of a doubt. Now, my main problem with seeing this movie in theaters was the fact that the entire audience, including my cousin and her friend who was with me, were talking throughout the entire movie, making comments, saying, "Oh shit, get out of there, he's gonna get you." And I could understand if you were like whispering this to yourself, but they were literally talking like as loud as I am talking in a dead silent movie theater. Like, you don't do that. No, you don't fucking do that. Another big problem I had was people laughing at things that weren't funny. I can understand if a character like trips or something when they're like running away from a killer, that can be kind of humorous, but you don't laugh out loud when for example, somebody is being brutally murdered. And people were laughing at things that were not funny. There was no humor in this movie at all. And people were laughing at fucking scenes that were actually very, very serious and, dare I even say, creepy, maybe even fucking disturbing. And they were laughing, which broke the immersion entirely. That and the fucking people talking, that broke the immersion as well. And when I complained about this to my cousin, she said that it was a small thing and that only I would notice people being on their phones and people talking. Yet it was very, very loud and annoying. And if I'm looking at a screen and I see out of the corner of my eye somebody's on their phone, which I would say about out of the like 30 people who came that night, about half of them were on their phones throughout the entire movie. I even saw somebody take a picture during the movie. Now, this wouldn't bother me as much if they took a selfie, but they literally had the fucking flash on. I don't know if I've ever said this before, but people who talk, laugh when they're not supposed to, make loud-ass comments, yell at the screen, or are on their phone in movie theaters are the reason I reconsider I reconsider a career in filmmaking or film criticism in order to become a spree shooter, because those people are the worst fucking people I can think of. That is my rant. That is the review. I would still recommend you see the movie, but I will say that my final rating, it basically rests upon whether or not it was definitely a good movie, but my final rating rests on when I rewatch it, and if nobody ruins the immersion of it. Anyway, guys, this is Biscuit Boo Horror Reviews, signing off. Peace.